All right,
Right.
well, Ryan, I'm Jason Ginty here at Alt 92.3 in New Orleans. So great to meet you, man.
Thanks. You too.
Listen, man, it's been a while, and I've been excited about. I've been like pacing around all day. I'm excited to finally get to talk to you after all these years because, as most Yellowcard fans know, that you guys have been kind of quiet for a few years,
Yeah.
and but now you're back. You got the new album Better Days coming out, I believe October 10th, right?
hmm Yep.
And here in New Orleans, we're proudly playing the single
You
as
sure
well.
are, man. Thank you so much. I don't even know how to express enough gratitude to all you guys for the love you're giving this. I mean, it will be it's 20 years this year since we had a song on the radio. Um, that's
Wow.
not that's not like a normal story in rock and roll. You know what I mean? You don't return to the radio 20 years later and go top five. I mean, as of today, the song is number five on the alternative chart. Seeing it there, next to the Foo Fighters and Green Day, it just doesn't seem real at all. And I'm really going through a process right now, as I have been since we've come back and started touring, and all these amazing things have been happening. I'm having to really teach myself how to believe that I belong here again. I mean, I've always struggled with a lot of imposter syndrome throughout my whole career. It's really been kind of a tough spot for me, but this time around, I'm just trying to really remind myself, like, dude, this is people love your band, um, and how yes, we're lucky to be here, and yes, it's a very non-linear story, but um, I just yeah, I'm starting to now seeing the song on the chart like this, and it's just we're starting to believe, we're really starting to believe, and it feels good.
It's got to feel great. And you look, man, and I want to bring this up real quick. Like I remember back in the day, around 2017, when you guys kind of called it quits.
hmm
You did it for whatever reasons you did it for. But like I'd always heard it was just like, hey, we kind of been there, done it, did our thing, kind of tired. Is
Yeah.
that fair to say?
Sure. I mean, we could talk about that for the rest of the day, all the things that went into that. But I mean, the real kind of surface level stuff is just we were struggling to sell tickets, and we were struggling to kind of maintain our career at the level that we felt. We never made it back to that Ocean Avenue mountaintop. We were always kind of chasing that, which was problematic in its own way. Um, but we just got to a point where it was like my son is 20 months old now, but our Sean, our violinist, had his daughter, and it's like, is it worth being gone 8, 9 months a year now, still after all this time, when we're getting diminishing returns every year? It really got hard, and it strained our personal relationships within the band, and I think bottom line, it just wasn't fun anymore, and we didn't start playing music as a career to not have fun. I mean, I don't know what job I'd say, like, you don't do that. You do that job, it's not fun. Like, this is supposed to be fun. I mean, that's we're so lucky to do this every day because it's creative, and it's yeah, it's fun. It's full of energy, and we just lost that. And so we decided, how do we step away from this on our own terms? How do we do a final farewell to everyone? And it was so successful, and it was so amazing. And that was it. The door was closed. I mean, we never ever thought we were coming back to this.
So you walk away, play that last show. All right, guys, you get rid of your stuff. You didn't get rid of it. You put some stuff in storage. You're out cutting
Yeah.
the grass now. So you're doing other things, right? And you've got a studio, and you make. And I read that you make like ambient music, and are you doing like film scores and stuff like that?
I'm trying. I'm trying to get into that. Yeah.
So you just completely shift gears, which I think is a cool, creative thing to do, right?
Mhm.
There had to be a point though, where you kind of were like, was it a year? Was it 3 years? Was it just running into one of your bandmates in a grocery store where you went, hey, I've been thinking about this. How did it
Mhm.
how did you get to where we are today?
Well, we have something. We have a person that works with our band that is it's pretty unique. Um, we've had the same booking agent since 2001, so it's very rare to have, call it like a behind the camera person working with you for that long. You change agents and labels and managers, and so Corey Christopher Martin has been our agent for 25 years, and she has from the conception of Riot Fest, been a part of that festival. And so in 2021, we had our last show was March of 2017. So it had been 18, 19, 20. We're 4.5 years into No More Yellowcard. She reached out to me and said, Riot Fest really wants you guys on the show next year. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's flattering, but no, how? I mean, there's no way, some of us haven't spoken in 4 years. Like we don't, it's just not, there's no way that's going to happen. And then I'm just going to be fully transparent with everyone who's listening, because this is a career and we are trying to provide for our families and build a future for ourselves. She told me how much they wanted to pay us to play the show. And I said, we have to figure out how to get everybody on the phone. Because again, we had come from this place of just not doing well enough to make it worth being away from our families, and the amount of time you have to put into this to be successful. And so to hear that somebody wanted our band to be a part of something at that level, that they were that passionate about bringing us on board, was mind blowing at the time. It was the biggest offer we've ever received to play a show at the time. And so we started talking, and we started to kind of heal some wounds, and we started to think, what if we could pull this off? And that was step one, was Riot Fest. And so it wasn't until, September of 2022. So it was way after this first phone call that we all stepped into a room together for the first time in 6 years, 6 years or whatever it was at that point. And we just started noodling around and playing some songs. And, we had like 4 days of rehearsal booked. And I think by the end of the second day, we kind of all were looking at each other like, you guys good? Are we ready to go? It just really came back fast, and there was certainly a charge. There was an energy in the room that felt really good. And so played the show. It was unreal. There was you couldn't see any grass on the entire fairgrounds, or wherever that is in Chicago, where it is. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. It just felt magical. And so that we passed the test was the thing, and then Live Nation came to us and presented this idea for the 20 Years of Ocean Avenue tour in 23. We were terrified. It was all like amphitheaters and arenas. If you remember when we first started talking, I told you we were struggling to sell out House of Blues, and now they want us to play these 6,000 to 8,000 capacity rooms, and it just blew out. Just we had to add second shows, and in our hometown in Jacksonville, we were terrified of that one because it's a hometown show, and it's just, man, I think that place holds about 4,500 people, and we were like, well, if 1,500 people show up to this show, we're gonna never hear the end of it. It's just gonna be, and it blew out so fast that we had to add a second show, and it sold out. We sold like 9,000 tickets in Jacksonville. So it escalated quickly. And all of that led us to today here with Better Days and a top 5 single. It's just, it's a really wild story. Again, I've been a fan of music for a long time, and I'm trying to think of a band that basically, that reached the point of being kind of almost a household name, and then disappeared from that household name status for 20 years, and then comes back with a new song. I can't really think of one. It's surreal.
It's such a great thing too, man. I mean, you know what? Back when Ocean Avenue was out, I mean, you're pretty young when that's happening. You're really young, man, and too young. Yeah, you know what? That's so true. It's so much of this stuff happens in the music business where people are very young, and it's like, how do you deal with it? How do you handle it, right? And then you just said a little while ago was how you just kept trying to chase that successful single, which that puts you in a horrible place, because now you're writing songs in with a different mindset, instead of just writing songs that you love and you think it'll fit the band. So let's fast forward, right? Better Days. You got a little help from a guy that's pretty good at the drums, Travis Barker, right?
Yeah.
So
we did.
You guys meet up, and then I've heard that it just sort of started real slow, and then all of a sudden you're working together, and now you've got an album. So you're in there, and look, when you guys are early 2000s, when you were getting going, Blink-182 is one of the hotter bands in the world at the time. And
Yep.
now you got an album, you're working with the guy so this had to be another weird full circle kind of thing as well, right? Work with Travis?
Absolutely. And it falls under that umbrella of kind of really needing to start to believe that this is real and that we belong here, because that was another moment where when it first happened, my first instinct is why does he want to work with our band? What we've been gone. What do you know? Um, it's just this kind of, I hate to use the word trauma, but just all these wounds from the past that bring that stuff up. And you get someone like Travis who believes in your band and believes in making a record with you, and it will turn that around fast and start to inspire some real confidence and belief in yourself, you know? And that was the biggest part of his involvement in the record for me, was coming into the process a little bit timid and unsure of myself, and coming out a completely changed artist by his belief in me and his support, just in every aspect of my vocal performance, the lyrics that I was working on. He was so involved in every aspect of the record. And when you first start working with him, to your point, he's drummer first. He's the drummer of Blink-182, and that's where you know him as. How's it gonna? We've had the same producer in Neil Avron, all the way back to Ocean Avenue. So 9 records or something we made with or 8 records we made with Neil. So changing it up to a new producer is a big deal in terms of the how the relationships within the band work. You have someone who's been familiar with how we work with each other and can kind of navigate all those personalities in the studio for a couple of decades. And now you're going in drive, hey man, nice to meet you. Let's make some music. We didn't know what his style of production was going to be or how involved he was going to be. We just really didn't know what to expect. And for a dude that has as much going on in his life as Travis Barker does, he was in the room all day, every day, just along with us, at every turn, and would come if I was struggling, he'd come out of the control room and come into the vocal booth and just look me in the eyes and be like, you got this, dude. You can do this. We're all here for you. I'm here. I don't got anywhere to be. I'm gonna wait until we get this right. If it takes 1,000 takes, we're gonna get it. And I owe a lot to him, personally, for what I brought to the record. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know everyone obviously loved the process and loves the record that we ended up with. But for me, it was it was just really special to work with him, and he really kind of helped me find who I am in this band at 45 years old, and it was a really amazing process.
Well, Ryan, I think you know what, like we talked about a minute ago, is when you're younger, it just comes at you and you don't even know where to go first because there's so many things pulling you in a million
For
different
sure.
directions.
For
It's
sure.
like when you see these, you watch. I'm a huge sports fan, but like if you watch certain athletes, they say the game, as I played the game, whatever game it was, longer, it slowed down for me and I could see it differently.
Yep.
I'm hoping for you now. You've got Travis on your side. You're back. You've had this time, and now hopefully you can see it all happen in front of you in like a different lens. You know what I mean? And
Of
maybe
course, man.
feel it differently too, and just kind of like, hey, we're just making music. Let's have fun.
I totally agree with that, and I think seeing the routes a little clearer and slower is a great reference, and I because that's exactly what's happening. Instead of thinking, well, what if this isn't working anymore 5 years from now, or what? It's more about like we have one thing to focus on now, the tour that we've got. This tour coming up with a day to remember. We're going to focus on that. We don't have anything after that yet, so why worry about it? And that's a new mentality for us. And this record being kind of so the way it came together so organically and just easy. It was we were going to write some songs with a buddy of ours named Nick Long, who worked with Blink and has worked with Travis on a bunch of projects. And he's the one who mentioned it to Travis, who then said, "Come into the studio. Let's write a song together and see what happens." We didn't even have a record deal at that time. We were just free agents floating around, and it all came together. We got a record deal. He made the whole album. We focused on the album. It's like we're just doing one thing at a time, and that method and that way of thinking is really working well for us.
I know you don't have plans. That next route, let's see if we can get you down to New Orleans, man.
Yeah, we would love to, man. It's been too long. And again, thank you for all the support and playing the song. It's been wild to watch.